How to get amazing battery life on the Galaxy Note 8 coming up right now. Let's go. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology, and welcome to how to get amazing battery life on a Samsung Galaxy Note 8. So let's get started. First of all, we're going to get the obvious stuff out of the way. So auto brightness is the first thing you want to pay attention to. So how you're going to do this is just pull that little arrow down right there and make sure that auto brightness is on. The reason why I say keep this on is because it doesn't allow your phone to be bright in circumstances when it doesn't need to be bright and affect saving battery life. Now, some will disagree with this tip, but this is a pretty standard tip, pretty obvious one. Keep that auto brightness enabled here, unless of course you do like to tweak it manually here. Number two, another obvious one is utilize the Samsung power saving modes right here on your Galaxy device. You do have off, mid, and max. We all know what this is. It's pretty obvious. It's right in your face right there. So I just wanted to get those obvious stuff out of the way. So another thing I would like you guys to do to get amazing battery life on the Galaxy Note 8 is go through your apps every once in a while, because there's sometimes a single app that might be draining the crap out of your battery life. So go through these applications and just take a look at the usage and see what's going on here. And you might actually have a culprit application that is draining a significant amount of your battery life. Now, of course, you're going to know the applications that you are using. And if you're using one a lot and it's draining battery, that's just because simply you're using it a lot. But if there's one you haven't been using and it's sipping battery in the background, you might want to uninstall that app. Speaking of uninstalling apps, I would recommend that you go into your applications and just take a look at the applications that's been sitting dormant in your phone and delete those apps. And I'm not talking about the ones you have there just in case you need them there, kind of like Pocket when you are reading an article once in a while, you need that application there, for example. I'm talking about like some of these games you haven't played in weeks, or some of these apps you downloaded weeks ago. Get those off your Galaxy Note 8 if you aren't using those, and that should in effect save you some battery life. Next one on my list is to go ahead and configure your sync settings. Make sure this is off if you do want to save and get amazing battery life on this device. Turn that off every once in a while and manually go into your emails and pull down the sync and stuff like that. Now, I know some people are going to say, oh, what are you saying? You're telling me not to use my Note, disable everything. Well, these are battery saving tips. And the way to save battery life and get amazing battery on a phone is you have to not use it to its full potential. I mean, I made a video how to activate beast mode on Note 8. You could check that out, where a lot of people were just whining and complaining about, oh, well, it's already a beast. I don't really need to do, all this disabling of certain functions to make it faster. Well, actually, if you want to make your phone more efficient, stop using it to the max. And if you don't like it, then you're just going to use it the way it is, and it's going to drain more battery and it's going to run slower because you're using it at full potential. Okay, guys, so my next one does concern the Play Store. So go ahead and go into the Play Store, and you see this little hamburger bar menu up here. Go into that and go down here until you find your settings. Get into your settings and go ahead and make sure that these auto update apps are off. So you can see right here, have this off or only when on Wi-Fi, because this will drain some battery if you constantly let your LTE or your data go ahead and install these applications. So do that. This is a big one on the Android devices. Another pretty obvious one I want to recommend here is to go ahead and turn off radios that you're not using. So for example, right now I'm on Wi-Fi, so I can turn off mobile data here when I'm not on Wi-Fi to go ahead and save some battery. I don't need Bluetooth on. I don't need any of the other radios on, such as location, NFC, all that stuff while I have Wi-Fi on and I'm just browsing the internet. That will save me a ton of battery life. And I've noticed this on my Note already. When I have all that stuff on, I'm getting about 5 hours on screen time. When I turn it off, I'm getting about 6 hours on screen time. So take that into account if you do want to get amazing battery life here. Guys, my next tip is to go ahead and optimize that device. So go ahead and hold down Bixby, optimize my device. And Bixby will go ahead and optimize your device, making it run a little bit smoother and also get better battery life. Another pretty obvious tip that some people actually might not even think about, I think the tech heads that love the Note 8 know this one already, but you go ahead and you go into settings, and we're going to go ahead and display settings. And we're going to knock this resolution down as far as we can down to HD+. So 720p resolution. And actually, it doesn't really matter throughout the day. You're not really looking at your phone that heavily, up closely when you're just going about your day. Now at nighttime when you're reading and doing stuff like that, I would knock that resolution back up because I want to have crispy text. But throughout the day when you're just glancing at your phone, it doesn't really matter to have it on 720p. You will save a ton of battery life with this tip right here. All right, guys, another tip I do have does concern the S Pen. So if we go into settings here up at the top, let's go into settings here. and we go into the advanced settings where the S Pen is, S Pen. Make sure that you do have this low power saving mode on for the S Pen right here, because that can drain quite a bit of battery life. Not too much, but it could a few percents here and there if you do have that one off. So make sure you go into S Pen settings and have your power saving S Pen mode on. Now this is not going to affect you too much if you don't really use the S Pen all that much, but if you do, that is going to affect you there. All right guys, another tip I do have does concern the wallpapers. So, I don't recommend you guys put on the Infinity wallpapers that actually, have like live effects. That will drain battery quicker. And I also recommend you to download this application called Pitch Black Wallpaper. And what this does is you just go into it and ask you, do you want a pitch black wallpaper? I hit yes, I do. And boom, my device is all black. Because the OLED display technology, the pixels actually don't light up here on a black screen. So this really helps you to get better battery life here on the Note 8. Speaking about wallpapers, another tip would be if you don't want to use a black wallpaper, just make sure that you use a static wallpaper or a wallpaper that doesn't have those effects. It would just be a clear or a picture or something like that. The more black in the wallpaper, the better. Okay, as another tip is to make sure that you have always on display off. So if you do use the always on display, it's going to drain not a lot. It's very little. So this is not a huge tip here. It's not going to change your life or nothing like that. But 1 to 2%, maybe 3% a day, you'll save if you have this enabled. If you don't have it on, you will save 2 to 3% per day. So that's a very small tip, but hey, 2 to 3% is 2 to 3%. That's a call in an emergency situation, if you know what I mean. Okay guys, another one is kind of hidden in here and not a lot of people know about this. As a matter of fact, a lot of people say, I don't want those all screen displays because they have accidental touches. So there's a feature called block accidental touches here on Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Go into this and click this and make sure you have this on. So make sure that is on, because what can happen in effect is the phone could be in your pocket, in your bag, and be turning on without you knowing due to this all screen display here. And that will block that from happening here on the Note 8, and in effect saving you and getting you a little bit more amazing battery life. Finally, my last tip here is to go ahead and restart this once a day on the Note 8. And other than that, there's not much more that I can recommend right now. I mean, I would say, turn off mobile data when you're out and about and you don't have Wi-Fi and you're not using the mobile data. That would also get you pretty amazing battery life as well. Keep that brightness lower throughout the day if you don't have auto brightness. If you're the type of person who likes to use it, by yourself and tweak the brightness however you like all day and you don't want it doing things on its own, I would say go ahead and do that. Potentially you might get a little better battery life if you are using the grayscale mode, but that one's questionable. But other than that, that's it here. How to get amazing battery life on a Galaxy Note 8. If you have any tips you would like to share with the community, please do so down below. If you found this video helpful, enjoyable, do me a favor, click that like button for me. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, get some amazing battery life, and peace.